They laughed when I said I worked in the military, just like they laughed when I said I'd join as a kid. But this time their laughter stopped the moment the sound behind me got louder. My name is Kara Ellison, a 32-year-old military tech specialist who had spent years forging a path through Boise's rugged landscapes, a journey far removed from the mocking expectations my family held with unyielding skepticism. It was October 2025, and the family reunion took place at a rustic lodge nestled in the Boise foothills, its pine-covered slopes glowing under the autumn sun, a scenic haven for a gathering meant to celebrate my brother Ethan's promotion to a corporate logistics manager, a role that cemented his status in their eyes. The air was crisp with the scent of fallen leaves and the faint crackle of a bonfire, the golden light casting warm hues over the wooden deck where relatives mingled in flannel shirts and hiking boots, their chatter a sharp contrast to the unease I felt. I'd been summoned as a reluctant guest, a sidelined figure amid their pride, my family, my mother, a schoolteacher with a love for tradition, my father, a retired mechanic with a disdain for risk, and Ethan, the family's golden son, radiating approval over his steady climb, his success a standard they measured me against. You? In the military? That's a joke, my mother had said during the appetizer round, her tone dripping with amusement, my father chuckling with a shake of his head, their words a weight I couldn't shrug off, their praise for Ethan a constant echo of my supposed failure. I stood quietly near the railing, my tactical jacket, worn from field tests, standing out against the cozy sweaters, my fingers nervously tracing a tablet loaded with classified schematics. They were oblivious to my work, SkyForge, a military tech project I'd started 4 years ago with $6,000 from a defense grant, now valued at $40,000 and earning $3,500 monthly from government contracts. The laughter stung, a public dismissal of my achievements, but it was the helicopter's arrival that turned the day into a turning point. As the bonfire crackled, I mentioned my role in developing drone defense systems, only to be met with more chuckles. Then a low rumble grew overhead, the whir of rotor blades slicing through the crisp air, and a sleek military helicopter descended onto the lodge's open field, its green hull gleaming in the sunlight. The family froze, plates slipping from hands, my mother's smile fading, my father's laugh dying mid-breath, and Ethan's confident posture crumbling as uniformed officers stepped out, saluting me with precision. My heart pounded, a mix of pride and adrenaline, as the lead officer, Captain Reese, announced a field review of my latest prototype, his voice booming over the stunned silence, hinting at a strategic edge my tech could provide. Why the sudden visit? I had no answer, but their shock suggested a deeper respect, or fear, lurking beneath their mockery. The moment ignited a fire as I stepped toward the chopper, the foothills whisper a backdrop to my racing thoughts, each gust a question about what this could mean. Our backstory was a tapestry of family tension and quiet rivalry, woven into Boise's rugged terrain. Growing up in the North End with its tree-lined streets and mountain views, I was the wild daughter, always sketching flight patterns while Ethan excelled in business, his pragmatism earning accolades. Our divide widened when I joined the military tech program in 2018, rejecting my mother's push for teaching, her predictable lessons, or my father's mechanical trade, a path they deemed reckless. Ethan thrived in logistics, his engagement to a corporate executive a triumph, while I built SkyForge in a rented hangar near the Boise airport, the city's cool breeze a companion to my late-night designs fueled by coffee and determination. By 2021, I'd secured an $8,000 contract from the Department of Defense, hiring a mentor, engineer Dr. Maya Singh, for $1,400, her expertise a guide, my savings reaching $6,800 as I perfected a drone jammer. The reunion exposed their disbelief, fueling my resolve to prove my worth with my innovations. The helicopter's timing suggested a hidden stake, had my work caught their attention. A mystery that lingered as I boarded the craft, the city lights fading below, each flicker a challenge. The journey began with fierce resolve, a silent vow under the hangar's fluorescent light. I returned to my space, the faint hum of the airport audible through the walls, and reviewed SkyForge's progress, my workbench cluttered with circuit boards and 3D printed parts, a map of my ambitions etched in metal and code. My latest breakthrough, a stealth drone prototype, had gained traction with a $1,800 grant from a defense contractor, a win that spurred me. I worked 60-hour weeks, my hands stained with grease, guided by Maya's insight into Ethan's firm's supply vulnerabilities, a gap I could exploit with my tech. My savings rose to $7,600, and I invested $2,200 in advanced sensors, projecting $4,500 returns. At a defense expo in November 2025, held in a hangar with the scent of oil, I demoed the prototype, earning a $1,700 deal from a military base, my voice steady despite my nerves. But Ethan's presence, networking with contractors, his suit a symbol of authority, unsettled me, his glance toward my booth a chilling moment. Could I challenge a corporate heavyweight? I pressed on, drafting a plan on a hangar napkin in the rain, the ink smearing, a symbol of my fight against family scorn and his dominance. The confrontation simmered as I met Maya, her data showing Ethan's firm's weaknesses. Outmaneuver him, she urged. A former colleague, Lucas, warned of sabotage, fueling my ambition to turn their laughter into my leverage. I expanded SkyForge with a $4,000 grant, savings at $8,800, valuation at $43,000. Lucas's caution about Ethan's ties was ignored. A rival stole my design linked to Ethan, costing me a $2,000 contract, a loss that stung. A supplier delayed my parts, citing his pressure. Was this sabotage? In my hangar, rain tapping, I felt the reunion's sting and a rising challenge. What did Ethan know, and why the helicopter's arrival? The sting of my family's laughter and the helicopter's dramatic arrival lingered as I stood in my Boise hangar, the faint silhouette of the Boise foothills framing the window, their rugged peaks a stark contrast to the whirlwind inside me. The $1,700 military base deal was a fragile victory, my savings at $8,800, but the $2,000 contract loss to a stolen design and the supplier's delay gnawed at me, hints of Ethan's influence tightening its hold. Was this sabotage to ground my rise? My hands, rough from assembling circuits, trembled as I calibrated a new drone, the metallic scent of solder blending with my racing thoughts. Maya's faith in my tech was a lifeline, but doubt crept in. Could I withstand a corporate logistics giant's reach? I called Lucas, his voice tense over the line, confirming Ethan's history of undermining competitors. He'll sabotage you if he gets the chance, he warned. I steeled myself, the whir of a test drone a steady pulse, determined to turn their mockery into my ascent. The next week I met Maya at a co-working space near the north end, the scent of pine and the murmur of engineers grounding me amid the tension. Her furrowed brow scanned the stolen design report and the supplier's delay notice, the papers rustling under her fingers. This is deliberate, she said, sketching a plan. Secure new components, boost outreach, expose Ethan's tactics. I nodded, the clink of a water bottle a rhythmic beat, and contacted local defense contractors, their cautious interest a glimmer of hope. I launched a Forge Rise crowdfunding campaign, investing $1,700 from my savings, now at $7,100, projecting $4,000 returns to fund larger prototypes. In the hangar, I briefed my small team, a technician, a software developer. In the cavernous space, the air thick with the tang of oil. We're targeted, I explained, showing the evidence, my voice firm despite their concerned glances. Their nods, a blend of resolve and support, bolstered me, their dedication a shield. My valuation rose to $46,000, a number both promising and fragile. My ascent gained momentum, a surge of purpose driving my toolkit. I secured a $3,200 contract with a National Guard unit, their enthusiasm lifting my spirits, and invested $1,400 in stealth coding, projecting $3,000 returns. My savings stabilized at $7,400, and I upgraded the hangar with better ventilation, working 65-hour weeks to refine the stealth drone amid Boise's competitive defense scene, the city's crisp air a constant companion. Lucas called, his voice laced with worry, urging caution against Ethan's retaliation, his own scars from a sabotaged bid fresh. But I hung up, his advice a distraction, my focus sharpening with each adjustment. The contract added $2,000 monthly, a steady flow that fueled my confidence. Maya's update unsettled me. Ethan had been seen with government contractors, his influence pushing a smear campaign against my prototype's reliability, their alliance a calculated move. He's protecting his contracts, Maya said, her tone grim. But his firm's efficiency is dropping. Clients want innovation. The rivalry burned, pushing me to outfly them all. The pressure escalated a month later, a test of my endurance. I hosted a field demo near the Boise River, the open field alive with the scent of sagebrush and the hum of onlookers, earning a $2,500 pledge from a defense consortium. But tension brewed. Ethan's firm showcased a similar drone, their smirk a challenge, and a military blog hinted at his sway, questioning my credibility. My heart sank, the trust I'd built now clouded, but I adjusted my pitch, dipping my savings to $6,800. A legal notice arrived, vague but threatening, suggesting Ethan's network was probing my hangar's permits, a subtle intimidation that quickened my pulse. Was this his move? I consulted Maya, her analysis suggesting a public challenge to reclaim the narrative. I agreed, planning a live demonstration at the Idaho State Capitol, the risk heightening my resolve. The event, held under the Capitol's imposing dome, drew 150 attendees, my hands steady as I launched the drone. The crowd's applause was a boost, but Ethan's presence, watching from the sidelines, his expression cold, sent a chill. Whispers spread, lifting my deals to $2,600 monthly, yet the pressure intensified. The rivalry deepened as Lucas visited, his face etched with concern, bringing news of Ethan's faltering reputation. He's losing traction, he said, sharing data on his firm's 14% contract drop since my rise. I seized the opportunity, launching a Sky Alliance campaign to counter his narrative, their support a digital wave that fortified my base. I secured the hangar, adding $1,300 in surveillance and a part-time engineer, my savings at $5,500, the team's spirit a bond against the storm. But sabotage struck. Ethan's ally tampered with my sensors, delaying a $1,800 test, the betrayal a bitter sting. I reported it to defense regulators, their probe slow but promising, my frustration simmering. Ethan's shadow loomed larger, his reunion laughter now a riddle. Had he known my tech's potential? Standing in the hangar, the foothills glow casting warmth, I felt the reunion's wound and a challenge that tested my every flight. The truth was close, but what would it cost? The tampered sensors and Ethan's cold stare from the Capitol demonstration haunted me as I stood in my Boise hangar, the soft amber glow of the Boise foothills piercing the pre-dawn mist through the hangar's high windows, their rugged peaks a silent witness to the turmoil within me. This Sky Alliance campaign had rallied defense enthusiasts, boosting my deals to $2,800 monthly, my savings at $5,500, but the sabotage and legal threats cast long shadows, the air thick with the sharp scent of oil and the faint hum of uncertainty that clung to my skin like frost. The truth behind Ethan's mocking laughter, and the helicopter's unexpected arrival, was tantalizingly close, a blueprint I could almost decipher, yet the cost, financial strain, family estrangement, hung heavy, a weight over my every adjustment. My hands, rough and grease-streaked from endless tinkering, steadied as I recalibrated the drone, the whir of its motors a rhythmic pulse to my unyielding resolve. Lucas's warning about Ethan's desperation echoed in the cavernous space, and I knew the next move was mine, to confront the past and claim my military legacy. The investigation into the tampered sensors broke open the following week, a turning point that shifted the battlefield. Defense regulators, spurred by my report and a surge of public support from Boise's tight-knit community, raided Ethan's firm, the thud of their boots echoing through the corporate offices as they uncovered manipulated supply data linked to his network, a scheme to discredit my prototype. The news spread like wildfire across military forums, the city's diners buzzing with whispers and the clink of coffee mugs. My name cleared as contractors turned against Ethan's tactics with a fervor that took me by surprise. I felt a surge of vindication, a warm current coursing through my veins, but the $1,800 delayed test remained a bitter setback, its lost momentum a constant ache. Maya called, her voice crackling with triumph over the line, sharing data on Ethan's firm losing 16% of its government contracts since my rise, and a cryptic memo hinting at a past rivalry he'd buried. "He's on the ropes," Maya said, her tone sharp with opportunity. "Strike now." I seized the moment with fierce determination, launching a Forge Unveiled showcase at the Boise Center, investing $1,500 from my dwindling savings, now at $4,000, where I unveiled the stealth drone's full capabilities. The event drew 200 attendees, the hall alive with the scent of polished metal and the hum of anticipation, earning a $4,500 grant from a Pentagon affiliate, a milestone that lifted my valuation to $50,000. The rivalry reached its explosive zenith as I prepared for the showcase's climactic moment, the air thick with tension and the faint whistle of wind through the vents. I invited Ethan, a bold gesture to bridge the family divide that had fueled my drive, his presence at the center a rare and uneasy sight, his crisp suit a stark contrast to my oil-stained coveralls, the fabric whispering of the corporate world he ruled. His eyes narrowed as he inspected the drone's sleek design, a flicker of dread breaking through his usual confidence, a silent admission that shifted our dynamic, but he issued a veiled warning of a counterstrike, legal pressure from his firm's allies, a subtle threat to my hangar's operations that loomed like a storm cloud. The news tightened my chest, a vice of anxiety clamping down, yet it only fueled my defiance, a fire stoked by that reunion's derisive laughter. I collaborated with the Sky Alliance community, staging a public flight demo at Julia Davis Park, the green expanse packed with 250 supporters under a crisp autumn sky, their cheers a thunderous echo reverberating against Ethan's fading influence. My voice wavered as I revealed the sabotage evidence and the buried rivalry, a 2020 bid theft, the crowd's applause a tidal wave that drowned his credibility, boosting my contracts to $3,600 monthly. But the cost was steep. Ethan's lawyers sent a cease and desist letter, its crisp pages a paper tiger I handed to Maya, who advised a strategic retreat to avoid escalation, her wisdom a lifeline as I navigated this high-stakes war. The truth emerged in a quiet, transformative moment, a revelation that tied the reunion to my present struggle with startling precision. Lucas visited on a chilly evening, the air heavy with the scent of pine, his hands clutching faded blueprints from a 2020 project I'd pitched to Ethan's firm, blueprints he'd dismissed and later used to secure a major contract, a move that had cost me recognition and propelled his rise. His laughter at the reunion wasn't mere disbelief in my success, but a mask for the guilt eating at him over that betrayal, a secret he'd buried as my tech began to outshine his achievements. The realization hit like a missile strike, my anger a searing flame that mingled with a strange, bittersweet relief, the weight of years of ridicule lifting slightly as if a jammed gear had finally turned. I confronted him at the showcase's Q&A, the room falling into a hushed silence as I projected the blueprints, his eyes darting away from mine, his silence a confession that roared louder than any spoken defense. The audience's murmurs swelled into a wave, his reputation shattering like glass under pressure. My victory sealed not in a courtroom but in the arena of public trust where my peers and supporters stood as my allies. My savings dipped to $2,500 with legal fees, a sacrifice I bore with clenched fists, but my valuation soared to $53,000. A number that reflected not just financial gain but the resilience forged in fire. The aftermath reshaped my world with a quiet, enduring strength. I secured a $6,000 contract with a joint task force, their respect a soothing balm to the scars of the past, my monthly earnings climbing to $4,200, a steady rhythm that steadied my once frayed nerves. I upgraded the hangar with a new assembly line, its rhythmic clank a song of progress that filled the space, and began a journal, Wings of Retribution, its pages a raw testament to my journey, each entry a deliberate stroke of healing that mended the cracks in my resolve. Ethan's unexpected visit softened our rift slightly, his reluctant nod of respect a fragile bridge over the chasm of our past, his presence a rare warmth amid the hangar's cold steel, while his firm faced a relentless contract freeze, his influence waning like a fading signal lost in the wind. Yet peace wavered when an anonymous drone dropped a note near my hangar. You've won this round, but the sky isn't yours alone, watch above. I froze, the paper fluttering in my hands, Maya tracing it to an untraceable frequency, likely a remnant of Ethan's circle or a new adversary. I hired a surveillance team for $1,200, my savings dropping to $1,300, transforming the hangar into a fortified outpost with radar and motion detectors. Standing amid my drones, the foothills aglow with the soft pink of dawn's first light filtering through the mist, I felt a hard-won triumph, the prototypes hum my ally. But the note cast long shadows. Could it be Ethan's lingering ally, or a rival pilot emerging from the clouds? I sipped tea, the warmth grounding me, ready to face whatever challenge soared ahead in the vast sky. Hey Revenge Tempest fans! Kara's journey from outcast to military tech master is epic. Loved it? Hit that subscribe button and join our community to stay aloft. Drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from.